We're live. Well, folks, we are live. Minute or two early, but that's good that we can get the ball rolling. We'll wait a few minutes till everybody else uh, chimes in. Oh God, boy, got one already. That's good news. So I'm just putting the phone on a different sound so it's not beeping while we're talking. But it is March 30th, 2025, and we're a little bit solemn tonight, more than usual. I want to say because we lost, a dear member of Wayno's family, his mother, um, last week. So I'd like to personally, dedicate this show tonight to Sharon Hyatt, who's Wayno's mom. That was her married name. Um, and her husband Jimmy. We're hoping Jimmy will watch, and Jimmy, you're welcome to still call in if you want. Um, it's going to be a little rough even for me because the closeness that I drew from this lady was mostly just online with the show, talking to her, answering her questions, her asking us questions. We asked her questions too about the horse racing and different things that we didn't know, and that kind of stuff I'm going to miss. So I'm hoping Jimmy will still pick up the slack when we do want to talk a little bit about, getting into the horse racing, different things that we don't know, other than the Triple Crown and stuff like that we are just familiar with, like everybody else is. But there are going to be other things too that's going to come up that we're going to want to know, and I'm sure Jimmy can handle it. But anyway, this show dedicated to her tonight. We're like I said, we're going to miss her a lot. I know Wayno's, going through a lot right now, dealing with it. He's doing good as far as good as can be expected. Losing his mom, that's never easy.
Nah, good days, bad days.
Yeah, yep. But he's got his family to lean on, his friends, me, whoever. We're here always for him. He had asked me, "Do I want to do the show tonight?" And I was like, "Yep, want to do it." If you're capable of doing it, which he is, then we decided to do it. So, with that being said, um, we'll jump into the Phillies. The start of the season.
Yeah, that's a good start because that was Mom's team. So
Yeah,
she's an Eagles fan, but she really loves the Phillies.
You think is it dark to them if it's dark to us?
I think it's brighter this time.
It's brighter now because my face. Look, it just seems like I'm dark. I don't know. Maybe I'm not because I'm fair skinned.
You changing over?
I mean, but look at. I was wondering if I should just open that blind to get more side light.
Give it a shot.
Pull it. You pull that, but then you got to take the blind and tilt it. Hook that behind the little hook.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
There's a hook there. And really, you don't even have to do the other side. Just open it up now, because I can see it already. Just tilt it so it was like I did the one there on the side. Keep going. There you go. Keep going. Okay, right there. Yeah, that's better. Way better, dude. Anyway, a little technical change here to give us a little more light in the room. But
what else? Technical difficulties every
we're going to talk about this team. I know we're only 3 games into the season. It's just nice to be able to talk about baseball finally. It's always had an average spring. I don't know if I think it was 14 to 13 or something like that. They went whatever, and that you don't worry about because that's just it's just an idea of getting the regulars some at bats and some fielding, getting the prospects and the new guys used to the team and getting some, practice and the swings at the same time. Pitching, we added a couple pieces. Luzardo, the starter, a few other guys in the bullpen. Out in the field, we added Max Kepler. He's from Minnesota Twins, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Played 10 years with the Minnesota Twins. So we didn't add as many things and pieces as I thought we would. We didn't change this team. Last year's problem, it has already, in my mind, in one game, which is this one today, which is only the third game. So there again, I'm just looking at it, what I see. Where we left off last year was the bats went cold at the end of the year. Obviously, the pitching wasn't overly bad in the bullpen during the playoff. First round, obviously, we won. Second round, we lost to the Mets. Could have been a little bit here, but that's cold. Today, what did we do? What didn't we do that the Nationals did? And that's left men on base and not in key situations when you need to get hits, get runs, leaving men on base. Again, this is the from what I've seen the first two games was what won the games for us when we made the rallies after we were down a little bit. Home run ball. So is that that better not be a sign of the times for this team again, because it's nice to see the home run ball, don't get me wrong, but you can't rely on it and win all your baseball games. When nobody's hitting a home run, somebody needs to get a hit. Bases were loaded today. I had just got home, left my son's house. He texts me. Bases were loaded. Boom comes up. What's he do? Swings at the first pitch. Grounds into a double play. Inning's done. And that was the inning, really, that they needed to get some runs and get generating a little something there before then they did something again. I didn't pay attention.
What inning was that? Do you remember?
I don't. I want a sixth or seventh, maybe.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, okay.
I think something like that.
Yeah, we fell asleep.
Yeah. But it's early. So if this team changes up and, give it time, because everybody, if you talk like this now, it'd be like different if I was talking 3 games to go in the season,
Yeah.
at the end of the season, and they do it consistently. Okay. But I hope they can right their ship a little bit better on this, because I'm telling you, home runs are great, but if you're going to hit them, then you got to hit them all the time to win your games. And the first 2 games of the season, we won our games with the long ball. Pitching was good. Pitching came through. Don't get me wrong. That you have to have that. And today, Nola got blasted.
He got slammed.
His MO has never changed. He gives up the long ball.
He gave him
no matter what
twice today, right?
Yeah, 2 times today, right?
One was a 3-run.
One was a 3-run, like Ryan said. My son said he never gives up a solo shot, does he? Always gives up a shot where there's guys on base. Well, for the Nationals, that was good for them, because that's when you want to hit your. And it seems like we're up. There can be our home run hitter comes up, nobody's on the base, but he'll hit a home run, and it's a 1-run shot. Sometimes it does get you frustrated. But
I did see the guy that's good in the outfield, but last year he couldn't hit worth square.
yeah. Rojas.
Rojas.
I told Ryan that he played winter ball. He didn't just have spring training. He went down to the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And he played winter ball with them. And I think, they're against early with him too, but he looks up in the 3 games, though. He looks good.
That's what I was going to say. It's only 3 games, but
he looks really like he knows what he's doing more than
even
just up there hacking.
Yeah, even his sweat is just
he looks better. So, that's good. Cold weather, sometimes my dad, if he was here, he always said the Phillies have never been, and this was back then. So obviously now, I won't say to people associated, but they've never were a cold type team. Though whenever it got warmer and hotter, they played better. Well, is that true for everybody? No, because I've seen teams. The Yankees so far in 2 games, yesterday and today. Today the game, I don't know if they won it. They were up 12-3. Yesterday they won 20-9. Aaron Judge yesterday went 4 for 6 with 2 home runs, 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. Today he had a home run at least. He was 1 for 1 at the time I saw.
And the Dodgers are rocking it.
The Dodgers are not, and there's a team that can hit the long ball, but they also situational hit.
Yeah.
And get a base hit when they need it. There's a man on third. There's 2 out. Or here's the thing. You don't always need a hit. Why does it always seem like when the Phillies are on? Joy. When the Phillies are on, there's somebody on second or third. It's 2 outs. If you get somebody on third base with 1 out, all you need is a fly ball. A good fly. Doesn't have to be, not a pop up in early, but a good fly out in the outfield, and that scores a run. If there's only 1 out, if there's 2 outs, you got to get a base hit.
Yeah.
If you don't get a base hit, that leaves runners stranded. And so let's just hope for better things here with the Phillies. I mean, obviously I am. I'm not trying to be negative and I'm definitely a Phillies fan, so I'm not putting them down. But Nola. And that pitch that he got, the first 3-run homer that guy got him, he left the pitch it was a fastball up. And that's what the commentator said at the end when they do the post-game interview. And then Rob Thompson said the same thing. He goes, yeah, he left that pitch up in the strike zone, and boom, and you're going against Bell, but you got to keep the ball down and away or low and in. I mean, strikes, but can't put that ball out over the plate on a big guy like that, a big home run hitter. So obviously, we'll get through this. Tomorrow is opening day at Citizens Bank Park.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the opening day. Ryan goes with him and Brandon go. They go always the first opening night. So I think that's Wednesday. Did he say Wednesday? I'm not sure. I want to say Wednesday night is the opening night one, or is it Tuesday? Maybe Tuesday. But tomorrow's a 3:05 game against Colorado Rockies, and Christopher Sanchez will be on the mound. I did see that. So, but let's just hope for these guys know what they got to do. They supposedly worked on what they have to do, but you don't always get it. Today's starter for the Nationals was pretty good.
That's what I'm going to say there.
Okay.
That good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not so much worried about the Phillies right now, just going by what the first 3 games were like. And
yeah. I'm not. It's
That's
early.
like-
That's why I said what I said.
and
That's why.
Brandon Morris, he still can't hit left-handers.
Yeah, and he supposedly worked on that.
And he went off yesterday.
You can't. We're just talking now because it's the show is after three games into the season. This would be different if our first show was after the first 2 months, but it's not. So I'm not worried about it. It's not. It's a concern that you came right out and it just looked like you're back to the same old habits. And still, look, I watched Schwarber stand there on that one. This was the later in the game, so it must have been. It would have been K. Yeah, 2 men on. If he'd have got a homer, it would have been a 3-run home. First 2 pitches, he takes. It's okay to take the first one right down the middle. Good one. Second one, pretty much right there too. 0-2 count. I don't know if he had a ball after that. Well, I don't remember. And the third one, where was the pitch? Low and outside for him, and he swung at it. That reminds you of Schwarber. Because you're going to pitch Schwarber, all you got to do is keep stuff in on him. You get a couple strikes ahead of him, and then throw that last one. Don't do that. Why are you guys? They even talked about them swinging at pitches out of the strike zone. This was what they were supposed to work on.
Because that was
in the first 3 games,
low and away.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And this pitch for Schwarber was kind of low and away, not way out, but it was low in the strike zone and out. I think I would have still waited. I don't know if it was a strike or not, but
You like that box?
Well,
pitch box.
I mean, it is where the strike zone should be. Nobody sees it but us.
No, I know that.
I know. So I mean, that's why sometimes you'll see one like here's the pitch box, and the ball's like out here, and the guy goes strike, and the ball's not in the pitch box. Right. Then I've seen it touch the box, and it's a ball. So it is kind of frustrating for us to see that because we're seeing
that's what I
think should be. It doesn't bother me. I mean, it's frustrating at times if that's where you're going with it. Yeah.
But it's like today.
Close the blind. Oh, now Ryan wants to close the blind. Close it. You don't have to turn it. Just close the curtain. Yeah. Just pull the curtain. I mean, I thought we didn't have enough light, Bub. How's that? Better? Yeah, maybe it's where it should be. It seems dark to me, and I guess to them it doesn't seem. Chicago. We're at Applebee's now. Court, sure you are.
Who's that?
Ralph. What else is new?
Eat at 4:00 like everybody else.
Jeez, ew.
Go back to DuPont times, you bastard.
Yeah, who eats it? Oh, I'm sorry. He's eating at the same time Adam's family eats all the time. Mom can't make a meal before 7. Anywho, so it's early. I've said that a few times already. I guess we're impatient. You're kind of impatient when you see, the Dodgers come out of the chute at 3-0, 4-0. You see the Yankees banging games like big runs. I want to see this team and we can because we did. Before last year's first half of the season, we were on fire. Dude, we were nobody probably remembers this last year. We were the first team to 40 wins in the major leagues last year.
Yeah, I remember that because I think we talked.
And they talked about it. The Phillies were the first team to 40 in all major leagues last year, 40 wins. That's how hot they were. That's how on fire this team was. There again, it's only 2-1. It's early, so I just wanted to throw it out there. Just you got to talk about something. I mean, do I like the team? Yeah, I still feel we got a decent team. Pitching's going to be a question mark. Not so much on the starters, other than Nola. I never know where he is. I can't. Wheels is good. Sanchez will be fine. Obviously, Luzardo had a great first outing. Great first day yesterday. Luzardo, the new guy that came from Miami. I don't know the deal. What's going to be with Tajon Walker if he pitches and has a horrendous. Now I know Nola lost today, people, but he's no Tajon Walker. He's way better than that.
Yeah,
he's He's considered their like 5th or 6th starter now. Tajon, yeah. Oh God. And he just is not. Oh gosh, I don't even want to talk about it.
He was supposed to.
That's not even. Right? Yeah, I thought they were going to get rid of him, but they didn't. So, but they said he worked with him, and he's worked with the pitching. He's worked these. He's just he just still don't look like he has it. So we'll leave Tajon Walker where it is, people. I'm not a fan. And he wouldn't even be in my bullpen. He wouldn't even be very. I would have just dismissed him, and But I did something about the contract too. They owed him a lot of money when they signed him like 2 years ago, when they thought he was going to be. Not before last year or something. They must have signed him to a contract when he had a decent first year with us. That was kind of not so bad, not so good, not so bad, more or less average above or something. And I didn't dig into that as much, but I do know that it looked like the money would be the problem of not bringing him back if they didn't this year. So kind of like how the Eagles get with some situations. What do you do with What do you do with Huff? You signed a guy for 3 years for $51 million a year ago, and he doesn't produce not the year you got him. Now what are you going to do? So Howie's got his hands full with that deal. I mean, I don't know how that'll transpire, but I'm sure he'd like to get rid of him before the season starts. But whatever. So,
can we trade him without a cap hit?
There's a cap hit, but if you get rid of him before June 1st, is it? Or it's either you got to do it before June 1st, you got to wait till after before the cap hit's greater than what it is. It's going to be a cap hit, but it's not going to be a big one, big enough. Like $9 million, I think, and you might think that's a lot, but I've seen some other cap hits on other teams' players worse than that. So, we'll see how we do with the Colorado Rockies tomorrow. Did I say Sanchez will be on the mound?
Okay, good.
Christopher Sanchez. Christopher Sanchez can really be. I mean, he is the number 3 guy, obviously, in rotation. He could be, to me, ahead of Nola I know that'll never happen.
Right.
I know in the rotation it's going to be Wheels, Nola, him. But to me, and how Christopher Sanchez I think is going to be, and what I saw out of him last year would be my number 2 guy. Just but Nola's earned the spot. 10 years, blah blah blah. I looked at Nola's record. I was telling my son his overall record for the Phillies for 10 years, win losses and all down. He's only had really one good year, and that was 2018. He was 17-6, and he had a 2.65 or 6 something ERA, which is decent. 2 point something. He's other than that, he's either been 12-13, 14-12, 9-9, 10-13. His ERAs have always been 3.5 in the middle to upper 3s or a low 4. Always. So he's always that guy that you're like, man, Nola looks good. He's got the fastball. He's got a good curve. And then he just doesn't do it. He had that one. I want to see a year this year, 17-6. Already he's off to a flying start on the other direction. So he's already got his part of his 6 is 0-1. So, but I am an optimist. I'm very optimistic. I'm not the pessimist. Like they're done. I wouldn't even be this way if I was, halfway through the season. I would be fine.
I just wish they didn't play so many damn games.
Yeah, well, that's always been it's a long season. It is. It's not.
I guess it's good if you're really, really good.
I guess I don't know how that. Well, that's me. We like a 17-week season. This one is what what is it? 6 months. So it's end of March. So we'll just say April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, it's a 6 month season before you
Yeah,
get,
'cause they
and you
play
get a little bit
all
into
the way up
October,
into
a little bit.
October, right?
So it's a little over 6 month season. So 6 fours is 24 weeks.
Yeah, I
And,
just
then,
like
and then
when
there's 25, 26. So it's probably like a 26-week season
yeah,
overall.
and it's like
And what they
they
play a
lost,
lot of
they
games too.
lost. So this game, one loss, and they still got another.
Well, that's the good part about it. It's, in football, you got 17 weeks to combine a good record. You got to, after a certain time there, even if you're 5-5 at 10 games and you win out, you're now 7. You're now 12-5
Yeah,
if you want, and you could be wild card positioning. In baseball, that won't happen. In that sense, if you not halfway through, but halfway through, you could be mediocre or losing, and still by the end of September, beginning of October, be okay. But it
yeah,
takes a lot more in there because you got a lot of games to win. In football, you just they're again 500 record halfway through the season. You got to win 5 games, which you could do out, and you're in the playoffs. You're going to make the playoffs. So, but I'm like you. I do like my football, and I like my short season in that sense. It's just it is a long season.
I think they should play 18 games.
But it's like all the other sports. It's the 18 games. 18 games, guys. We'll start in June and we'll be done by the end of June. And
Just take a preseason game away.
but basketball and hockey are both. They're not that long. I mean, basketball's 82 games, is it?
Yeah,
And hockey's in the 80s,
I'm not
something.
sure.
I think it's near the same.
We
So
ain't got
they're half of baseball is what they are. They're literally half
we ain't got to talk about them.
of what we do. But we got to talk a
Flyers
little bit
suck.
about. Well, they do. They suck, but Fires. Everybody knows fired their coach. Torts is gone. The new guy everybody loves, and he's only an interim coach, which doesn't mean he will be. He doesn't mean he'll be the guy next year. We don't know. Maybe I don't know what their thoughts are there, but everybody seems to like him because they came out with gangbusters, winning games and scoring
Yeah,
goals. The guys look different. I watched a couple of these games, dude. They're skating. I don't know. The problem with the Flyers was always the second period. They always come out like gangbusters. They had a shitty second period and then third period, but then it's done. You're battling back or losing because you're behind. But these last few games that this guy's taken over with, I know it's just coincidence. They really started scoring goals. So we'll see. They got a lot of things to do. They got prospects to get draft better be good for them, and they got some pieces. But once again, I think we said this even at the beginning of the year. They're 3 years away from being a contender. To me, that's my thought. 3 years away from what is it? Phillies don't play Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, I said what I didn't say. I said I didn't think it was Tuesday, but I said pretty sure Wednesday because Ryan goes to that game. Oh. And that's what's that, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Or is that a 3 game series? I'm not sure. I didn't look on. I didn't check all the little stuff like that. It's all crooked. All right. So that's where we're at with the Phils. Some good, some bad early on, some things to figure out. Well, Mr. Paperwork here. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Wayno with anything that's on his paper that we're going to discuss.
If anybody knows anybody wants to be a cheerleader, professional cheerleader for Philadelphia Eagles, they're holding tryouts. I put the link on our page on Facebook.
Cool.
If anybody knows anybody wants to like try out for the Philadelphia Eagles cheerleaders.
Ralph says we need to do a show from Applebee's.
Let's go.
We'll look into that.
Is he buying? You buying?
Yeah, what's Applebee's
Is
sponsor?
he watching Applebee's or no?
No, I don't think so. Unless he put it on his phone. I just told him. I said we're really doing the show. He said, "Well, I'm at Applebee's." And I said, "Of course you are." And that's when he said, "Well, you ought to do the show from Applebee's."
Tell him to
Well,
buy.
what good is that going to do?
Is he buying?
Doing the show. He ain't buying.
Well, if he ain't buying, we ain't doing it.
That's all they do is eat out. You guys eat home. The other night they were at Texas Roadhouse for his dad's birthday party. Jeez, I want to get in that family.
Hey, our birthdays are coming up. He could take
Yeah, next month's my birthday month, so you better take me somewhere special.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
so Eagles cheerleaders up on the website. Anybody wants to be? Who knows? That's a tough one to probably get into, but
Yeah.
never easy. What's new?
Um,
You got something you got to say? Or
nah, just looking.
you had some other words.
I was having fun listening to you talk.
Well, I was trying to keep it going.
No.
I know. No. Well, we're already doing, folks. Wayno and I decided, a lot of the podcasts and different things around are not very long type shows anyway. Our 2 hours is long. We don't have people watch nearly but 10, 15 minutes at a time sometimes. If that's the case, it is long. So we're going to try to keep it to an hour. If we're done before the hour, we'll end. If we have more information that we're giving when we do get rolling big time in the summer months or warmer months, then we'll go longer. We're not, it's never going to be like a 2 hour show. We're just going to cut it off when we're done yapping about the different things that are on our minds. And usually it is local sport. I mean, Philly sports, not local.
Yeah.
If Wayno gets information once the baseball season starts with the Pennsville team, and we have different soccer and stuff, we will talk about that kind of stuff. That's just for anybody local that wants to hear anything about their teams, from our school mentioned, and we'll mention them. We'll talk about them, But for us, it is about the pro as much as we can because we are Phillies and Eagle fans.
Yeah, I gotta reach out to Tom Humes too from Humes Racing.
But yeah, we have to talk to Tom again. There again, we did a last year. Was it last year or the year before?
I think it was. It might have been a year before.
We did a podcast from the garage of Humes Wicked Racing, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But we did it, and it was a cold month.
Oh my God,
it was cold, and it was cold in there. They were working on cars, motors, where the noise was going, and it was fun. Don't get me wrong. We sat around the table, had that kind of stuff is I'd like to do more of if we can, because like Ryan was telling me, AJ DeSantis has his podcast, and cornhole stuff is kind of where he's geared around the cornhole, and he does a lot of interviews. He has interviews with different cornhole players, good ones. And they talk about this, that, I'm just kind of like, well, we're not really going to get a chance to sit down with a Philly or an Eagle. Probably not at this level. This isn't the Kelsey brothers, but we can go to, Wayno knows, Tom Humes from Humes Wicked Racing. We could actually talk to Ralph sometime about Ralph's an ex-driver. But Ralph was involved with it for years and years and was a good racer, won some championships. Ralph probably have a lot to tell us. It'd be good to hear something from a retired veteran in a sense of him too, as well as somebody that races now.
Yeah.
Just for something to do for the show, for an interview. So I don't mind. I think we'll get into something like that. There again, all this revolves around our lives, and it's that kind of stuff. It's tough to do when Wayno's got different things he's involved in, and I'm whatever. Sometimes I got somewhere I can't. I gotta be like a concert. Like a 3-minute concert, I have to take time out of my life to go to. But anyway, school concert.
I have to
What? You work for the school?
I have to
Register
the kids for school.
Wow.
I think they're going to be here for a little bit longer.
Oh, for God's sakes! Why he's whispering? Jeez, we're gonna have to get a studio here. We're gonna have to rent out the studio. I guess we better get the banner then. Then how's it gonna go across here with my damn sign? Blessed is blessed.
But I did.
What happened to this group? Moving on. I know it's probably a funny story. Really, it's not.
I don't know.
It's not funny.
But
God.
Now I talked to her. I told her. I said that's fine. I said, but I was standing in the living room. I said, this is the studio. I said, so Sunday nights is when we're doing it. I said, it could vary. I said, you're just gonna have to keep the kids and then beasts down in the
if we're down to an hour, we're only an hour now, which is even less time than they would have to keep, or just take them for a walk and hit the pipe. But anyway, so we're fine here. I'm not saying we can't.
No,
I'm not saying we can't be in my living room. This
is just a little funny because I was like, okay.
I was looking forward to getting back to the studio.
I don't mind my grandkids being there. It's just
no, I know. You're not saying it that when you were doing that. Like, what's my kid doing?
Yeah, they're
I'm
gonna
gonna
go.
register. They're gonna be in town for 10 years. Oh, Jesus.
I ain't dealing with this shit till I graduate now. Goddamn.
Well, that's the way this is going. Well, you know how your daughter is good. 1 minute, we'll be out of here next week. Dad. How long ago was that? Or next month?
I messed with her about
We're
that.
going to be only a month. I guarantee it will be a month. And a month turns into a year, and a year turns. If I had to keep my family here, well, not here, but I would make do, and they would do the same for me. So
Yeah.
I understand it. It's not. We make fun of it, and joke.
They can stay there as long.
Yeah, right.
As long as
Exactly.
they want. It's just
You know.
I miss having my own place. That's all.
But eventually, they got to get. You're just gonna have to, or you get out. I got an idea. You get out. You sell place to them. They ain't gonna get it for free. We got a car.
No. Kind of.
Oh my
Shit.
God!
Time to punch in for lunch.
They're not going to get it for free. But you sell the house to them. You get over to Tammy's, living in there. You got a place there. I mean, that would work.
Don't hear this, Tammy.
Money, money from the house, whatever. Turn it over to them,
Actually,
and we'll studio at Tammy's, like in the basement.
Joey and Charlotte are interested in doing it. They have brought it to my attention.
I'll be out of the picture a minute.
This is a switch. It's usually me. But
Poppy's trying to.
yeah, so the Eagles have made a crap load of moves finally.
Yeah, I guess we'll have
In the last couple weeks.
We'll have to talk about the Eagles.
I wrote down some of them. I know it's not all of the moves. I wrote some of them down.
I know a lot of people are like, not a lot of, not you guys, but more people I've watched on other Eagles websites.
Is this not to cut you off? Is that right? Giants signed Miles Sanders.
Did they? I didn't know Miles
I
Sanders.
heard it was the Cow.
I heard Cowboys signed Von Miller. Is that true? They added Von Miller to Parsons, and Parsons still not happy because they haven't done
him.
I don't think they're going to do right.
You think the Eagles should go for him? I know he's going to cause some.
I don't know. I think the Cowboys will. If he don't get signed before the season starts, even though his contract goes through this year, he said he's going to wait. He'll sit out and wait. He's not going. He won't play until they give him a contract. So, would I go for him? Yeah, but Howie's not going to spend that kind of money.
Yeah,
he likes how he can get good players for cheaper amounts, and then later on he pays them. A couple years into it, or a year into it, he pays them, a decent salary. But Parsons is going to command. If he was getting paid by either the Cowboys or another elite team, he would be the highest paid edge linebacker, whatever his position is.
Yeah, I think so too.
In the league for that first position.
I think he kind of deserves it. I mean,
he does. Money's money. He does. He's very good.
Crap team.
Yeah, it's a shame. So he's frustrated with it right now. He doesn't want to see his career just go, down the tubes. But who do you have that we signed and how? I can probably add a few in if I hear or don't hear what you have.
All right, let's see what we got. We have.
So who you have?
They extended Barkley.
We knew that. Yeah. They extended Barkley.
Lane Johnson reworked his contract so he could free up some money.
I did hear that. Okay. You have just a list of even who
we got. Yeah, we got. We lost Josh Sweat, as we know. Milton Williams.
Right.
Kenneth Gainwell, he went to the Steelers. Beckham went to the Chargers. Isaiah Rodgers, Vikings. Fred Johnson, Jags. And Paris Campbell, I don't know.
He was like a bench wide receiver. But a lot of times he was on the, what do you call it, the list where you can draw people from, the practice team.
Okay.
He was on that.
Practice squad.
Practice squad. He was with that, not with the starters.
Okay. So he's with the Cowboys, so.
Right.
And, Slay and Burks are Bengals now, right?
Right. I did, yeah.
And Pickett went to Cleveland. I'm glad of that because I like that.
Yeah.
The hell's his name? Backup quarterback. McKee. I like that.
McKee's going to be a good second string quarterback. Seriously.
So we picked up AJ Dillon.
We did pick up AJ Dillon from. Was he with Green Bay or was he with somebody after Green Bay? He was originally with Green Bay, but that's who I remember him with.
And
He's a good backup running back, really.
Joshua Urch.
Yeah,
linebacker.
From the Giants.
Yeah, we signed a couple of guys from the
We
Giants.
did sign, and another guy that's really good at young. When you get to him, if you have
Dorse Jackson.
Who is it?
Dorse.
Yeah, but that's not the guy I'm talking about. Where's he
corner? I don't know. I just put where
corner.
Yeah, cornerback.
This guy's got a long name. I think it's with an O that I'm talking about, or.
Yeah, I know. I didn't put him.
Yeah, that's the one who's an edge rusher, and he's fairly young too, like 26, 27, something like that.
So we signed a kick returner and punt returner. So I guess
That's what they were saying about. They don't think
Avery Williams.
I guess because Kobe was hurt a lot. I kind of think that's why what's his name signed this guy, Roseman, because Kobe's in and out too much. It's not. He's good when he's there, but he's not there a lot.
Our third string quarterback's Doreen.
Oh yeah, he's just like typically a third. He's nothing to brag about. He's just a third stringer. So
I'm sure I missed the practices. AZ.
Is that the guy? That's the guy I'm talking about. Is that yeah, but he can be an edge rusher too, though. Okay. But he is a linebacker as a list. It's listed.
Yeah, that's all I got with that.
No, that's fine. We let a lot of people go because of we let a lot of good players go, but you can't sign everybody to big contracts, and that's just the way it goes, people. When you learn to understand it, it makes it a lot easier than saying we lost Sweat, we lost Milton Williams. Milton Williams, I hated to see go.
Yeah,
I really thought I was a big Milton Williams fan, and he did good. But the guys coming out of the Super Bowl that I saw play, and the one comes to mind is that Jalex Hunt.
Yeah,
I really think this coordinator is going to get him a lot more, and you're going to see some big things out of him defensive wise when we get back into the football season. I just like a couple of the guys we got. I liked who Hallie signed. I think with the way our defense works, a lot of guys in and out for different plays, different schemes. We're good. Plus, we haven't even got into the draft yet, people. So, we got a lot of draft picks, and we got a lot of decent draft picks from
we got like
first to third,
right?
Huh?
300 picks in the next 2 years. No, I think it's 20.
20, yeah. 20, but
so far,
if we want to trade up to get somebody in a way, I don't know if he's doing that. We have the picks to use even from next year to trade up and get in who you want. If we don't, then I'm pretty sure he goes defense first pick this year, which is, unless we change it, it's 32. It's the 32nd pick. 32nd pick. So number 30.
Somebody said anything about trading up. So
somebody's talking about him doing that. I don't know. If he traded up, I think they wanted to trade up to 22. They wanted to go 10 spots up. There's somebody they're looking at. So I don't know. These are just, you can't, I try to follow as much as I can at work on my phone just to keep up with what's going on, getting ready for the draft. It's a shame it's late and we got to work the next day because I really wanted to do a show the night of the first draft, opening night draft.
I know.
And you're working anyway too. So, but it would be great to tell everybody we're going to be on the air when we're drafting. So we're going to be watching that. You'll be watching it on TV and they're going to bring it to you too. But it'd kind of just be neat to see what our thoughts will be of the players that the Eagles draft and other teams, who gets what, who doesn't pick who you think. Because a lot of times not everybody gets, who you think. You're like, oh, they're going to pick him. Oh, they didn't go with him. They picked him. And that happens. That happens for real. And if somebody would sit down and watch the movie Draft Day, by the way, then he would see exactly what I'm kind of talking about, because that is a good movie for draft, and it revolves around the Cleveland Browns. Which don't get it, it revolves around them even chanting after they get all their stuff. I won't say too much more. Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, which never happened. But to see the movie and see how a draft unfolds with a general manager, which is Kevin Costner in the movie, he kind of reminds you of what Howie Roseman does or would do in that situation that you'll see in the movie. So I'll leave it at that. It's just a good movie. It's old. It's older, but
he's talking about me watching it because I keep telling him I was going to watch it tomorrow during the day, but Ronnie told me today that I got to work over at the middle school because obviously somebody's not there again.
Yeah, he said, right. We won't go into that, but yes, exactly right. So
We won't mention their names.
we're not here to mention names, but like normally after that you'd mention the name, but we won't. So he'll get to watch. It's just a movie. We don't want to get sidetracked on that as much, but I'm looking forward to the real NFL draft. I really am, because I got some people in my mind. Now, what we'll do is obviously the show will be Sunday, and the draft is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So that's good, because at the end of 3 days, Wayne will have some stuff written down. I'm even going to log, which I don't usually do. I usually do everything from my head, but I can't do it all. Come Sunday, I want to have some stuff, not just him, for the draft thing that I want to talk about. But
I'm anxious to see. I got his name written down. Like I said, if we did this to make money, I would.
and we say that, not that we should, but
Tight end from Penn State.
if we had some real sponsors for this show,
right.
Somebody that knew, hey, these guys are pretty cool, or we do like the Kelseys. You always see them on a split screen. One's got his own microphone, the other's got his own. They're not near each other. So if we were like in different sound booths where we were talking, it'd be cool. Yeah. I wouldn't, you would feed off what you're seeing me do, not next door, sitting next to me doing the bet. Hey, we can't do that. So, well, if you get your studio back, then I could be here and you could be here. We have to have 2 laptops, do split screen.
That's possible too.
That'd be neat if we did that sometime. But I like doing it this way. This way is just more down to earth, homie. You see all our Philly stuff in the back there. Thank you, Joy, for the pillow and the Afghan.
Going. She buy you Philly underwear too?
No, didn't get me any. We didn't go any further than an Afghan and a pillow. Something to put my head on, I guess.
Philly's condoms or anything?
Let's keep it to like this. Anyway,
she knows us that much.
Just we won't. What's that? Hello, Darlene. Darlene, hey, what's up? Darlene is on. Hey, Darlene, if I did, for some reason I went on my phone today on Facebook and it came, and you're right. I originally was friends with you. I don't know what happened to it, but then it came up. Your thing came up to, follow or not. So I hit follow, or requested it, whatever. But I don't know how. I swear, I don't know how that happened. She said, "Well, what did you friend me?" I mean, no. How would that come about? I don't know. Anyway, it's back. I should be back to. I friended you, so we'll see how things are. But anywho, anybody got any questions? Joy, you're good with questions. Shoot one out.
Yeah, shoot them out.
What do you think the Phillies should do different?
Batting practice?
Here's another thing. Since you said that, what do we know about, they've had the same hitting coach sometimes this is the guy you let go. And I forget who he is now. I don't, to me, I don't even remember. Usually you get a hitting coach that was a good batter. Maybe he was in baseball. Move that little hand way now, the little finger. It's always on get some pitching and bats going. Well, yeah, but the hitting coach. Well, I ain't real happy. If you're not getting your guys, do you need somebody to teach them how to situational hit, or is that something they should be doing in spring ball? I don't know. I don't know. We're working in it in the off season a little. Rojas went. Not everybody's going to go to winter ball. You just don't do that. But guys that aren't real good should get down there. But I don't know. I mean, I'd love to have a hitting coach that was a ex-batting champion, a decent, a guy that could hit 320, 330 for the year. I ain't worried about the home run, just a guy that got, 50 doubles and a few triples, and, like Pete Rose would have been a great hitting coach.
Yeah.
The best overall hitter in baseball. It's not a home runner, not just guy that got on base religiously, was Pete Rose. Got base hits all the time. Yeah, he got out, but he knew how to work counts. He knew, and to hear him talk a little bit about he has talked on interviews about, today's players and what things they do and things they don't do. And I've seen a couple of those reels on my phone over the years, even not recently. But that is the thing, that would be the guy I'd want. See what Joy's saying here, folks.
Pete Rose had 4,250.
Learning how and where to hit depending on the base runner. Yeah, and right. I agree. I mean, and that's kind of what I'm saying. That's situational hitting. You get guys on bases, learning how to move the runners and learning, you got to do this with when you don't have low outs, because there again, you need to move the runners to third at least with one out, so that a fly ball by the next batter minimum, he could get a base hit. Fine, that's great. If he doesn't, but he hits a long fly or he grounds the ball to the right side of the infield, first base side, the runner at third's coming home. We don't do that enough. We don't situational hit. And it's too early to say, because by All-Star break, this might be the best situational hitting team in the league. Who knows? So I'll have to give it to Dude. But those are the things we do need to improve on.
She said that's taught in Babe Ruth and Little League.
Well, easier said than done, because it's taught in Babe Ruth and Little League, but they don't do it down there too sometimes. So they're guilty as much as anybody
Tammy's
else.
watching too, because she just told me to get off my phone. But I told her, I said that's part of the thing of looking thing. We gotta look.
Well, yeah, we do look. There's times when he's talking, I will look at my phone to see if there was anything that I need to say about sports, or if there's something comes up, or do I want to check. Ralph sometimes texts me, but then most of the time he either calls in, but he won't call in tonight because he's at Applebee's doing the show. So, yeah,
I wish
it
we
is.
could get that. That's the other reason why we're on the phone too, because we put the show on our phone, and then we can read the
the things that come up on the computer, the text.
I don't know. She stole your word.
What?
She said, "I know, Lippy."
Who said that?
Tam.
Lippy?
Yeah. I know, Lippy.
She's talking to you, though.
I know.
She's called you Lippy before now.
She called me. That was the blue moon.
Oh, she likes it. She likes the Lippy term.
She likes the Lippy.
And that all came from Ryan. The thing that one person tells, Lippy, we kind of know. Lippy might have been Chris Shaw after Ryan used to just say lip. Like what a lip, or what's up, lip? And if I would tell Wayne that, little Wayne, he would say that to his friend, like Barry Porch, he told calling him, he'd say, "What up, lip?" So Lippy, Ralph used to say. Now Ralph and I would talk back and forth. Obviously, "shakal" is the word we use. That came from King of Queens, TV show, and not just literally, but in that episode where they had the koosh ball, where Deacon, his son, gave a koosh ball, and the bosses took it accidentally and kept it, and he didn't want it. And they saw him one day playing koosh ball. They were throwing it around, so they're throwing it around, and they're all in a circle out back behind the place where they work. And Doug finally, when the ball didn't come to him, he's like, to get his attention, so he threw it, and then later on he wouldn't throw it again. The boss finally looked over, like, and so I took it. He didn't literally say the word "shakal." I had mentioned it to Ralph, and he said, "Just say elongation of shakal." Oh, like I said, that's what he did. And he's "shakal." And then Ralph used to say a couple other little things and all that, but that's all in the show. You can watch the episode, you'd see exactly what I say. But so now that's what I call Ralph. I've always called him that. He calls me that too. And then his kids always say when they see me, they go, "shakal." Shakal says, "Again, it's just a little, little thing we got." Oh, and then she said, then Julian went to college and said she had the kids saying it down there for different things. She had them saying this word or situation, but that's weird.
When we started hanging out, I used to say, "Oh, my land."
Oh, and I say that. Oh, there isn't a place.
I still say that.
If I go somewhere, like even around Helen when we're at work, I'll say, "Oh, my Atlanta," because you sound just like Wayno. I said, "I know, that's where I got it from." I said, "He said it first, then I said it." But
big balls and countdown.
Oh, my Lantis said. But anywho, I do say that. I say that a lot too.
Yeah, anywho.
A few other people.
They do.
Yeah. Oh, when's it end? No, I say that at work all the time. When's it end?
Did Johnny sign quarterback yet? Because I wrote this was
Did the
supposed to be last.
the Giants there again?
Unless they signed Wilson.
Where did
or any of them guys.
Russell Wilson?
Is that who they did?
Yeah,
Okay.
him. And that they have three quarterbacks,
but none of them were under contract.
Lord knows,
as of last.
But Lord knows who they're going to go with. They have their backup to the guy they let go. Where'd he go? Who was it they let go? The Giants.
Creepy.
The guy that he's the guy that ran and fell on his face. He's the guy that ran for a touchdown.
Jones was his last name, wasn't it?
We have to laugh at that. That's funny.
That was
Jones. Yeah, he was running full blast down the field that game, and he lost his footing and started to go like this and fell down on his face.
Brown snagged.
You know, they had comments. The commentators couldn't stop talking about this.
He fell down.
Nobody around the guy, and he starts to run too hard, and he's like, anyway, I'm still laughing about it. Good Lord. So they have signed three people, and yes, Russell Wilson was one. Well, who?
Winston, ain't it?
Oh, is that where Jameson Winston? Oh yeah, you're right.
Him, because I said, why would they do that? You signed two.
So Russell and Jameson, because what's going to happen in training camp? They're going to go at it. They're going to battle. Yeah. It's going to be given to whoever has a better camp and a better preseason. Look, I'll guarantee it.
That could be the question of the week.
I mean,
who should the Giants start out of their three?
I mean, here's my thing with it. Jameson Winston is a lot younger. He's still been in the league a few years, but Russell Wilson's old. He can still play. Okay, but is that the guy you want to take your chance with on a team that doesn't do anything consistently? Do you want to put a veteran that much age-wise in control of a team that really needs a little more youth going for it? Unless Jameson Winston just sucks, unless he comes out looking terrible. I don't know what. You know how he got that job. Do you remember when he was in the crowd and he asked Barkley, who needs... remember Barkley was going down the road. He's on the thing, and he said, I'm looking for a job. Who needs a quarterback, Saquon? And Saquon says, I think the Giants are looking for a quarterback. So I don't know if that was a planned thing, if that was something him and Saquon did, or was he just literally come out and say that to Saquon? I don't know if it was set up that Saquon knew he was going to ask him that question. So, but Aaron Rodgers is making a mockery of this signing or not signing with Pittsburgh.
I wish that Pittsburgh.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers, some of the defensemen are like, either sign with us or not. They're tired of him playing the games he's doing. Either you sign or you don't sign. He goes, I'm over this.
His career, man.
I think he should really. Yeah, I think he should have stepped away from it when he was a winner. But
Russell Wilson is 36.
Yeah, so he's been in the league since 22, right? Had to be. He was drafted right out of college.
Yeah, he was born.
That would have made him in the league 14 years this year. I just think Aaron Rodgers is a big. I don't know about this. So who else is quarter in there though? If he doesn't, is that where Pickett? No, Pickett didn't go there. Pickett came from there to us, right?
Yeah. Still.
Who else does the Steelers have?
I don't know why I'm thinking Geno. Who Geno Smith?
We're just trying to go over some people where people went. We guess we better read this more often because this one's a chatty catty. Sometimes experience is best. Start Wilson and work. It's not always. Experience is the best if they didn't have a choice. Jameson Winston played pretty decent at times. I just think he's not with the right team as far as being coached. I don't know. I don't know if the Giants are going to be that way. I just think Jameson Winston needs a. If Jameson Winston was with us, we'll say Hurts wasn't and had a good coaching system under, he could be a decent quarterback. He has the tools. He just lacked a good team in front of him. I like a veteran, but I don't know. You're trying to get a team to move on. What you're saying, Joy, in a sense, is go with Wilson. Yes, if he doesn't work out. But when you're going with a veteran like that, you're just going all in for 1 year. This could be it. This could be the year. If say the Giants went all in on a few players and they're just trying to win one Super Bowl. I'm trying to look at it just like the Eagles would look at it. You want somebody in there for the future. Now, is he there for if he makes second string? Will he stay on the team? I don't know if he's going to want to be second either. True. He'd be a great mentor to anybody under him because he does know, and he is a scrambler type quarterback. So he moves around. He can, but Jameson Winston already is that his name is Winston, isn't it? I keep saying the damn name.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston is a scrambler. He moves around the pocket too, like Hurts does, and like all the runner type quarterbacks. But I don't know. I feel like these older guys are just hanging on their career because they're looking for one more shot. So why would Wilson go with the Giants? They need more help than just a quarterback. This team lacks more than that. They need, they got one wide receiver. That Nakib, I forget his name. There again, I don't know their running back situation. That ain't nothing anymore.
Yeah, it ain't
That
nothing.
hasn't been. Their tight end's getting older now. He's decent, but he's moving up. But every year's a year older for everybody on a team. It's not. That's just why Howie's trying to build this team for the long haul. After winning a Super Bowl, will we win this year? I don't know. There's a chance we could be in the mix and go there. But you got to build it to be in the playoffs. You got to get to the playoffs before you can think Super Bowl. You got to win this season, either win your division or become a wild card and get into the playoffs. Then but if you got the young guys, just like we proved, the young guys worked out for us this year. I mean, look what Cooper DeJean did, and all the guys that just stood up. The young ones. We need a young team. So I like where we're going. Obviously, we're not talking about us. We're talking about the other guys, but. Yeah. I threw that in there just saying, hey, I guess I've just seen Russell Wilson, what he in the last few years, he just hasn't done it with whoever. So I don't see him doing it. I don't see any difference coming out of him going with the Giants, is what I'm saying, as opposed to where he was.
I think they're going to. So I think they'll end up signing a quarterback in the draft, picking a. I think that's.
I think, yeah. And are they're down there? I mean, they should be pretty high in the pick, right?
Yeah.
They should be fairly well up there. They'll probably definitely look for a quarterback. Don't get me wrong. It's Chatty Catty what now?
Who do you think
depends on what the Giants are looking for. Chance now or work for the future? Well, like I mean, yes, it does. I can't see anybody just looking a team that's been crappy for the last 5 years looking to win something 1 year and then he could be done and then you got to build from there. It's
yeah.
I don't know.
What the hell was I looking like?
I mean, if that's their thought, I doubt very seriously if that's their thoughts. I don't think they're looking to do that, but I don't know for 100% sure, and I'm not. So, anywho, well, we're coming on an hour. Well, yeah, this is good.
I like the hour.
I like the hour. I kind of like Chatty Catty.
We get closer to like the hour and a half and the 2 hours, we kind of run out of stuff to say.
A win could. True, but a win could be the real boost. Well, what win? 1 win for a game or 17 for the season? I mean, you mean a Super Bowl win? It could be a boost, guaranteed. They're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. There's no way they're in the mix. They got too many decent teams ahead of them. 17. No, I know. I'm just saying, 1 win or 17. You said a win. They're not going to win this year. We should be still tops in our division. The Commanders did a lot of work in the offseason, so they've added some pieces. Washington's going to be back good again this year. Dallas, I don't know. I still think Dallas is. What do they call that when not Dallas is fake? Like there's a word. There's what you say when a team thinks they're good and they're not. They're like a shell, a ghost, or something. I can't think of the darn phrase I want to say, but
I don't. The Giants have third overall pick in the first round.
Posers, kind of. Maybe that is the word I'm looking for. I think that's how we're. Who was it?
The Giants got the third round.
Third pick,
yeah.
Third overall pick, and there will be a quarterback available at the third pick. Because I don't think the second. Who's the second?
Cleveland Browns.
And who did they get? Didn't they just get a quarterback?
Though they saw Deshaun Watson. Is that where he's at?
I don't think they'll pick. I think either that one guy that whoever number one picks picking a quarterback. Who is it?
Tennessee.
Yeah, they're grabbing whoever. That Schroeder, what's his name? Deion Sanders' son. He could go third if he could. I'm not saying he will.
His position, what position?
He's quarterback. Yeah, he's a quarterback. So he's going to go up in the round. He's going to go in that first few. Whatever team's looking for a QB. Now, not everybody's looking for a QB. So, but the Giants would be if he's available. I guarantee they might grab him. He's young, obviously he would be the future for them, not this year.
Right.
But maybe it would be good that he mentored under Russell Wilson too. Wouldn't hurt in that sense. Maybe that's what they're thinking, Giants. We're going to draft a quarterback. We want Russell Wilson this year for that reason.
Yeah.
So that could be so too.
We're dead last in the first round.
Yeah, we're 32nd. Right, but we can move up. That's why I said I don't know how if he really is going to move up. I know people have said the Eagles might move up.
Talk with Dallas, man. Maybe we can move up again. That's how we got Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
we traded with Dallas and moved up.
Howie has ways of between now and then he's going to get things in his. He's going to have paperwork ready to sit down when it's time to get on the phone calls and stuff. He's going to be doing it. So I don't know what he'll do.
Or how we draft.
I think we either go edge rusher, defensive lineman, edge rusher. Where's your water at? You need your drink? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I think we do something defensive line first. That's my thought. If there's anybody good, I don't know. By the time we get to that point, will that one of the Georgia players left because they were looking at that one guy from Georgia. There have been a bunch of mock drafts. I've looked at the mock drafts just to see, and some people have us picking a defensive back, a D back. Some have us going a D lineman, an edge rusher. That's me. I'm on the edge rusher thing. I don't think you're going to see offense. Usually Howie picks defense coming right out of the gate.
Yeah.
We don't get offensive guys till later. But we're going to have to look for an O lineman eventually in that lineup too of all of our picks. There's got to be somebody there that way. There's got to be a linebacker probably again, but further down, like, in the 7th round. There could be somebody like a linebacker that we will look for a wide receiver just to see what people you always go and grab one of them. And in case whoever you got that's 3rd string or 4th string on our team now might get dropped and this guy might make the team. Who knows? I'm disappointed in that big guy that we got, that Wilson from Florida. 6'6", and he's got hands of stone. How come we look darker all of a sudden? Is that just the way we are? I guess because the
sun's going down.
Oh, here we go. But anyway, I always thought that Johnny Wilson, man, he's 3rd string. He comes in on situation. He's tall. They like him when you're going into the end zone inside the red zone.
Miles Sanders signed with the Cowboys.
Okay. Miles Sanders signed with the Cowboys.
I think he was talking about signing with the Giants.
How about that? Well, the Cowboys got their. Is he going to be the backup or he's going to be their starter? You think Miles Sanders still got it in the tank? I mean,
I don't think he does.
I really don't think he's the guy.
But he better shut his trap because he's been talking a lot of smack against the Eagles organization.
I know. And so
he's going to get fudged up.
He will get that anyway.
He's going to get jacked.
Jalix Hunt's looking for him when he comes through the line. Jalix is good on that. So, anyway, I think the Cowboys, no matter how good their O-line people think it is, should draft offensive line. Myself. I think that. What do you think? Dak's always getting hurt. Prescott's either getting tackled or running and getting. I don't know. It just seems like he's out with these injuries and he ain't no youngster anymore. Prescott's been in the league a while. So it's either do or die for him in the next few years or he's done. Gone. Or whatever.
Would you cut him?
I mean,
would you have cut him last year?
No. I think I still go with him. Yeah. I just think they have other areas. They have. Didn't they re-sign Amari Cooper? Isn't he back? They re-signed another wide receiver. I thought that they had. Is it Amari Cooper? Man, you know who did the most work on the offseason for signings? New England Patriots.
Yeah.
They spent over $276 million of the money they had in cap space money that they had.
They hadn't spent nothing for quite a few years. They've used it but they got a lot of players. That's where Milton Williams went, right?
Yeah.
Milton Williams went to the Patriots. Um, that, I'm not saying they're going to be right back in it, but they're going to be a lot different looking than they have this past year or two. You watch out for the Patriots; they're going to be there. So, I mean, they might be in the mix of it in their division, but I'm not sure how they'll be when it comes time
Great.
playoff time.
Just what we need them to get back on track.
I don't think they'll be, like.
Not saying that one signing is going to put them over the top, but
no, but they signed a lot of. You'd have to look up them and say who did the Patriots sign in the offseason, and they loaded up wherever they could spend money on people bringing in and getting that was let go or released. They did it. They went out and grabbed some pieces of the puzzle for them.
I hope we finally expose Kansas City Chiefs, man.
Yeah,
I hope people start coming out.
They didn't do much. They did a little in the offseason, but not much. Not, they did a little. They spent stuff here. I think they think they're still okay with what they got, but
I mean, because I'm telling you, we only won the Super Bowl because Kelsey had the flu. Remember?
no, yeah,
I'm being sarcastic.
I know he's right. Wayno's being sarcastic, people.
Because it came out 2 weeks later that Kelsey had flu symptoms and was really sick.
Yeah, I heard that he had a grave illness, so that he wasn't himself. Well, he was himself enough that he wasn't himself enough. He's wide open. What's his name? Didn't even look to him that one play. He could have blocked for Mahomes and never went over and did that. So I don't know what he was doing if he was sick.
Just stood there and watched.
He stood there that one play and just stood and watched. He was pissed off that we were whipping them. You know what?
We came out and just started kicking their ass. It was awesome.
Technically, to both Wayno and I,
exactly what I wanted.
The final score was 40-6, technically. And I say that was our score that it should have been. And the defensive coordinator was pissed.
They say that on all these talk shows.
Jalix Hunt was interviewed at a podcast thing, and he said, he came and told us right after the game that was not acceptable. That should not have happened. Our guys just letting him throw that ball down. Them guys, that was not. We could have played tighter coverages. We could have been. We were getting a little lax there because we knew the game was over, in a sense. But there again, you never know.
Yeah.
So he was not happy with those 14 points or whatever. No, it was more than that because they went for the 2 and got it on the 1, didn't they? So
that one touchdown was one play, and he scored a touchdown.
Yeah. Right. So
they got the ball back, and I got up to go to the bathroom, came back, and they had scored.
But they had said he was not happy and had him in the locker room or had him in the film room and everything, seeing what they did. And, I don't think you'll see something like that happen again if we get to a situation where we're ahead. But we should have won 40-6. We had them down and pressed out. We just there again. We talk about playing prevent. I don't know if the coaches called it obviously, or were our guys paying back more prevent when they shouldn't have been paying up. But I know you play.
He can't really go back and tell the guy.
No.
Go back and yell at him if he's the one that called the prevent.
No, I don't. That's what I say. I don't know if he was saying we're playing prevent, but you play prevent to an extent in that situation. But the coverage on the passes should have been tighter coverage.
He probably
was right with him, but
play relaxed, but don't let them score.
Don't make penalties, which means you're going to play too hard. Now you're getting penalties for holding, pass interference. You don't want that, no. But it is what it is. We won. We were destined to win that game. I'm telling you, Hurts was on a mission.
Yeah.
Regardless of Saquon got shut down most of the game. He had one big run. He had one 15-yarder, and that was about it. 15 or 20. He had 75. I know for the game overall. He never had a big burst like we've seen every game. He always has one. He runs 50 yards back or something, but at least.
And that's why they say.
But they focused on that, didn't? We took that part of the game away from us. Hurts knew what he had. He knew when it was one-on-one man coverage, and he knew when it was zone. And boom, this is what we said. You and I have said about him
all season,
because he's not been good doing that. And this year, he changed though. He really turned it around. Sorry,
earthquake.
He turned it around when it came time to play. To pick apart the defense, and that's off to him. And that one pass to Devontae, oh my gosh. the one bomber where they said, they'll probably run the clock out here. Man, he went for the dagger. Boom. Wow. Fake handoff to Barkley and long bomb to Devontae Smith.
I already have 2 other questions, and then we can.
All right, let's shoot the questions, and then we're going to wrap it up, folks.
Who is the best Philadelphia Eagles quarterback in franchise history?
Wow, you really can't go with Hurts because he's still got a career going. So you almost have to pick a retired,
Yeah,
a ex-Eagle, a retired Eagle. That's hard for me. I mean, I would be between McNabb and Cunningham.
that's where I'm stuck at.
For short term, though, if he had a longer career with us, nobody was as good as Michael Vick when he was on the field. During the time he was an Eagle, I watched him play as a Falcon, and all he wanted to do was run the ball and sling. I'm always matching this thing and sling it. But when he was with us, I've never seen a man can run around the backfield and drop let it go for 50, 60 yards, and it's right in Deshaun's hands or whatever. And the other guy that was only a fill-in was, what's his name, who backed up McNabb in the Super Bowl, and Karen loved him. The backup quarterback, ex 49er he was. Remember he played with the 49ers?
Of course, Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia. Jeff Garcia was another one that just tough. I managed the football game well and didn't miss open players.
If he plays in his Super Bowl, man, we win.
We win that game. We win that game. And that's it. You say you can hear us and say you don't know that. We don't. But in my mind and in my heart, if Jeff Garcia played that game instead of McNabb, we win that football game.
He was. And
I'll bet T.O. was saying the same thing in his. Why ain't you putting Garcia in, because this one's not got it, and he's came back and he was ill, so they said McNabb was sick. Why wasn't Jeff Garcia put in? That was poor. That's poor team management there. That's poor ownership or poor at that point. That's bad head coaching there.
I always said that the reason why they put him back in there is because they got this backup quarterback that is playing great right now.
Lights out.
They just signed McNabb to that big ass contract.
And it could have been. It could have a lot had to do with the money they were paying the guy. But if you want to win a Super Bowl, why can't you? If he starts and he ain't got it, then Jeff comes in for me. That's me. I'm not saying.
I know.
Second half probably for me would have been Jeff Garcia for me.
Oh yeah.
Because of the first half, the way it ran, and I'll bet T.O. would have loved it because Jeff Garcia and him had a good connection. They were good. Jeff was good all the way around. He was, he was what he was as a fill-in, as a backup, but he was good when he played with the Eagles.
Yeah.
But Michael Vick, for a short few-year player for the Eagles, if you just went as players in certain years, he would have been, probably my number one guy. If he had played 10 or 15 years with us, it would have been amazing to see how he would have been, because he was always in shape. He always could run the ball, get away. He always looked for the open receiver and didn't have a problem getting the ball to them. And he just seemed like he managed things well. He didn't get flustered when he ran around. I'm not saying Hurts does well. He's good back there. He's gotten better this year as far as not staying in the pocket too much, because that was Wayno and I's biggest gripe about him. He sometimes sits in the pocket too long before he decides to go. And if early in his career he didn't go. His first year when he full-time he took off if he had to. I'm going because ain't nobody open. All right, well, that's going to always be in your repertoire. I don't care how many years you've been in the league, and you want to throw the football instead of run it, you got to run it when you have to run it. That's all. And he waited too long a couple of times. He got sacked with games that we shouldn't have had. Really. They screwed up some games, and we lost some games that he bad managed his own moving around, his own play, as far as that goes. But what was the other question? That was ours. But I like Randall.
We'll save that for next week.
I like, if I really go with it as far as, and Randall didn't have a great team always to play with like McNabb did. McNabb had better football teams, but Randall, I think, was a real deal. But he was the scrambler.
I mean, I like Jaworski, but
Ron Jaworski was good too, but
not like McNabb or
Randall.
Or Randall.
Not in that sense, no. So, well, we're going to end it here tonight. We went down. This was an hour and 15, but that's okay. Well, we had more to say. We had things that were in mind that you brought up. I don't mind I like talking about other questions and
I
things that
always
you
get
have.
more talkative
That's the whole
towards the
thing with
end of the
this.
damn show. You ever notice that?
Ugh,
Keith's like, yeah,
I
all the
can't do it.
time.
But that's where we hope, if we get more viewers, that you'll call the things we're chatting about. That's when you call in and bring up your own question, bring up your own.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I know they're going to be
yeah,
like,
we didn't
oh,
do any
wow,
phone
that's
number
not a
today.
lot. But we have
Right.
5 listeners for
It's fine. It's okay to
pretty much
text
of the
in
show.
too. We have a thing here that we look for the text to come in. So
And that's great too. Just
that's good.
call.
It's nice to be on the line. We do, like I say, we miss our caller. Our number one caller has gone on to be with the Lord. So, but we will move on. This show was dedicated to Sharon. It was good that we got a lot of things talked about that she enjoyed listening to, which was the Phillies and different things. So, when Jimmy's ready to call us, when he gets a chance,
Yeah.
maybe down the road. I know he's going. It's got to be rough for him right now. So when he gets, settled in and feeling better and doing better, we'll hope to hear from him anyway. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, the banner. Yeah, we do need the banner.
We might bring that up. Bring that in next week.
The banner.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of hard for him to call. We didn't give him the number the whole time.
Yeah, we didn't give the number. It wasn't. Yeah, not this time, but times we've given the number that he calls it. Ralph's at Applebee's. Have a good dinner there. It's all about.
And if you're all on TikTok, Joey is going to go back through I gave him all the information. He's going to go back through our clips and take out some funny stuff and put it on
Oh, cool.
TikTok. So
that's a good deal.
he's got like close to 1,000 followers on TikTok.
No kidding.
I said, well, come on, bastard. You need to come get on the show.
Yeah. That's good, though.
So,
all right, folks.
But, man, love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom. Miss you. And we will continue on for you doing the show, what you so loved. So, all right, folks.
All right.
We're going to say goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Next week. Peace. Oh, what the heck?